Today's video begins with me letting Mr. T have his decompression lunge. And by that, I mean he's allowed at this early stage when we first come out to blow off whatever steam he needs to blow off. If he needs to get a few bucks out, now's the time for him to do it. And I'm just going to let him go. As long as he doesn't get too crazy or becomes a danger to himself or me, he's fine. And I'm not going to ask him to keep going, and I'm not going to ask him to stop. And over time, he's going to learn that this is his time to do what he needs to do to get himself ready to go to work. And what I have found with working with many thoroughbreds, especially thoroughbreds, but with all horses over the years, is if you start them every day like this early in training, they become very honest. You know, they'll tell you if they need to blow up a bit, and they'll tell you when they're ready to go to work. And the older I get, the more useful I find this because I don't want to have to deal with it from in the saddle anymore. So this is something I encourage all riders to do with all horses. Start the day, be honest with them, let them be honest with you, and tell you if they need to blow up a bit. And again, we'll just let him go around, and you'll see when he's done, I'll go out to him and we'll get ready. But he's just going around. See, I'm not doing anything to encourage him, and I'm not doing anything to discourage him. And it gets very interesting because as they become more trained and don't need this, you'll go out there and you might hook up the lunge line and they'll look at you and say, I'm fine, let's just go to work. And they mean it. So it's a very handy and useful tool, and not to mention a safety feature to have in a horse. Usually once they're in regular work, they won't need to be lunged after a while. And then you might go for a long time without lunging them. And one day as you're walking out to the ring to get ready to work, you just look at them and think, you know what? We need to go back on the lunge line today. And if they have this honest ethic already built in, that's when you get the benefit of it. And here you can see he's just stopping on his own. He's done. So I walk out to him, and now we'll get ready to get on with the rest of our work. So now I'm going to hook him up with what I call my longer reins as opposed to regular long reins. And it's actually how I hook up my lunge line, which has a clip on each end. And I start off by normal lunging. I go from the inside bit ring up over his pole to the outside bit ring. That's how I lunge. And with this setup, what I do is I take the other end, and I'm going to go through a ring about that we put up on the saddle. I'm going to do another video on making one of these. I call this a lunging gizmo, and it just keeps the outside rein from coming up over the horse's neck. And then on this side, this would be the outside. You can see the inside rein is coming back down over the pole, and there's the outside rein, which is going up to the ring. And then when I'm back on the inside of the horse, you can see I have the inside rein, or the right rein, in my right hand, and the outside rein is there on my left hand. And I'm just starting off with him here in the long reins, or longer reins, asking him to move out a bit. He's a little bit sticky this morning. He's saying, oh, I don't know how to do that. And he knows how to do this, but he needs a little refresher. So this would actually be called what we call our lateral engaging step, or moving out. And I want him to move out with as much bend through his body, stretch over his top line, and crossing of his legs as possible is the goal of this exercise. And when he does it that way, I call it the lateral. There, it's much better. That's much better. And you can see how he's starting to already stretch down and cross better. Yeah, he said, I'm not sure I want to. Yeah, you do. He's not as good on this side yet as he is on the other, but this is nice because you get to see how you sort of encourage it. That's good. So what I did when he was being a little sticky was I just sort of picked up that inside rein and sort of pushed on the side of his neck and said, move over. And he did. We're doing some repositioning here just for the camera. Normally we just keep working from wherever we are. And again, see, there's my left hand holding the outside rein. Here's my inside hand comes up when I want to ask him to move out some more. Now notice already, you can see he's starting to stretch into the outside rein to bend. See how the inside rein is pretty loose? I'm not bending him by pulling on the inside rein. I'm bending him by getting him to reach around and bend through or stretch his outside rib cage. And that is really the heart and soul of dressage. That's what it's about. It's about the horse bending by stretching the outside and achieving contact by reaching over the top line. And I'm doing all that in here from the ground. Here I've changed from moving out to turning in. You see how I'm just sort of leading him around, and I'm using the outside rein there. And now we're back to moving out. And then I'm asking him to turn in for a step and then move out. And those of you who have read my book, Riding in the Moment, know that our 5 first-tier basics are go, stop, turn in, move out, and soften. And he's doing all of that right now from the ground. So this horse, of course, has been on the track and he's been broke. But even with brand new babies that have never been ridden or never been backed, if you teach them this stuff from the ground the way I am with this horse, by the time you put a rider on their back, they already know how to be ridden because we're riding them from the ground this way. That's all we have to do. That's all we ask of any horse ever is actually go and stop, turn in, move out, and soften. Those are the notes in our scale, and from them we can create any melody or chord arrangement that we want. Good. I guess I asked him to stop. And here he's just going around in the circle, just about as good as gold. And you can see how completely relaxed he is, stretching over the top line, stretching around the outside of his rib cage to the contact. And he's just paying good attention there. I just needed to move him out a little bit when he got a little stuck. And I will use that under saddle too. If they're going along and they get a little stuck, just lift up that inside rein, ask him to step out for a stride and for a step or two. And that's how I get them going. And here it looks like I'm just going to ask him to trot now. He's saying, don't do that. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And there's a little joggy trot, which is fine. I'm not looking for a great deal of impulsion. I'm not looking for more forward. I'm looking for a relaxed trot with the horse listening to me, turning in and moving out, going and stopping in a nice relaxed way. And then as he gets better at this and we get him under saddle, then we'll add in more energy and impulsion, but it'll all be adding it to a relaxed horse and we'll get brilliance. If you try and add energy and impulsion to a tense horse, you get tension, and it's terrible. So get them relaxed and understanding what you want. Again, there I am, just lifting up that inside rein when I want him to move out a little bit more, and that is exactly what I do when I'm riding. Here it's very obvious and sort of exaggerated, but when you're riding, it'll be less obvious, and when he's really well trained, you just barely lift your hand so the people on the ground wouldn't see it. And again, just asking him to move out. And here I'm asking him to step in, turn in for a step. Good. Good. And then we're going to ask him to move out again. And if you're riding a horse and you can get him to turn in and move out to the right and the left, you can do anything with him. A little bit more. But you can see what a relaxed, easy way this is to work a horse, especially one that isn't, all that well trained. He doesn't have to deal with you up there in the saddle. You don't have to deal with him underneath you if he doesn't know what to do. And he just gets very good at it over time. I will stay a little more focused on my hands and the reins. And you can see, well, he's a little stuck there when I asked him to turn in. But you see how I put sort of equal or more emphasis on the outside rein containing the shoulder, and then the inside rein sort of led him. That was a little mechanical, but we needed a little correction there. Um, Again, leading him around for the turn in. That was better that time. It's easier. And here you can see very clearly that the horse is bending, or you could see very clearly the horse was bending by stretching into the outside rein, and the inside rein actually had a loop in it, even though there we did a turn in. So again, look, as we're moving out, the inside rein is pretty much loose, but there's an even bend all the way through the horse. So that's telling you he's bending correctly. And there you have a lovely moving out. Starting to get fairly fluid. That's a pretty nice turn in, and you see how the outside four sort of came a little in front of the inside four, and it was smooth and pretty much in tempo. So that's what you want to have. It should all be easy and effortless for you and the horse. And if you get it that way down here on the ground, it'll be that way when you ride him. Now there you can see we have our little tongue sticking out, and the cure for that right now, the therapy for that, is to totally ignore it. You see we have no noseband on, and it's actually getting better. The more relaxed he gets, the more he understands the bit and the aids in his job, the less of an issue the tongue becomes. And that's not true for just him, it's true for any horse. So we're pretty much going to ignore it and get on with the business of just teaching him how to be ridden and teaching him the aids and teaching him, to be relaxed. And then if at the end we still need to put on maybe a regular cavesson, or even I think it'll be gone. But at the end, if we need to put on a gentle flash, not at all tight, just something, I think it'll be okay. Just as easy as can be, and this is the way it should always be when you're working your horse. So I just lifted that inside rein up for a moment, and he moved right out. And here, yeah, there we go. Just started him up again. Now at this point, you're probably getting a little bored watching this, which is almost good news, because I think good training should be a little bit boring. Mostly just relaxed, easy, repetitive, not to the point of making them sick of it, but to the point where it's no big deal. There's nothing all that exciting about it for him. It's just the normal way for him. And in the trot, we're moving out and a little bit of turning in, and then we'll move him right out again. And that's that. And now we show a little bit of us working in hand the other way. We're not going to show you very much of this. But again, you can see it's very relaxed and easy. And the bending is correct all the way through the body. Maybe all the way through the body by stretching through the outside into the outside rein. And he's reaching over the top line very nicely. So we'll do a little bit of work like this with him, and then we're done for the day. And that's it. Next time we'll probably be looking at him under saddle.